Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today is Saturday. It is 4th of October, and it is Padmanabha Masa, Ashwini Masa, Sukla Paksham, and the Dwadasi Tithi. So today it is the fast, breaking the fast for Ekadasi. So between the time, it is 7:06 and 10:54. Okay. So apart from that, there are three Vaishnava events today in the calendar. The first event is the disappearance of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. Second one is disappearance day of Srila Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, and disappearance day of Srila Krishnadasa Raj Goswami. So the three great Vaishnava saints disappearance day today. We shall read a few lines from special Vaishnava days. Just to touch base a little bit from each and every Goswami. Okay, so at the age of 90, Krishnadas Kaviraja wrote Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Here is an extract from this book. So important for our understanding of Lord Chaitanya and his associates, mood and mission about Raghunath Dasa, chapter 10, text 91 to 104. So Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, the 46th branch of the tree, was one of the most dear servants of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He left all his material possessions to surrender completely unto the Lord and live at his lotus feet. When Raghunath Das Goswami approached Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri, the Lord entrusted him to the care of Swarup Damodara, his secretary. Thus, they engaged in the confidential service of the Lord. He rendered confidential service to the Lord for 16 years at Jagannath Puri. And after the disappearance of both the Lord and Swarup Damodara, he left Jagannath Puri and went to Vrindavan. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami intended to go to Vrindavana to see the lotus feet of Rupa and Sanatana and then give up his life by jumping from Govardhana Hill. Thus, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami came to Vrindavana, visited Srila Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami and offered them his obeisances. These two brothers, however, did not allow him to die. They accepted him as their third brother and kept him in their company. Because Raghunath Das Goswami was an assistant to Swarupa Damodara, he knew much about the external and internal features of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Thus, the two brothers, Rupa and Sanatana, always used to hear of this from him. Raghunath Das Goswami gradually gave up all food and drink but a few drops of buttermilk. As a daily duty, he regularly offered 1,000 obeisances to the Lord, chanted at least 100,000 holy names, and offered obeisances to 2,000 Vaishnavas. Day and night, he rendered service within his mind to Radha Krishna, and for 3 hours a day, he discoursed about the character of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shri Raghunath Das Goswami took three baths daily in the Radha Kunda lake. As soon as he found Vaishnava residing in Vrindavana, he would embrace him and give him all respect. He engaged himself in devotional service for more than 22 and a half hours a day. And for less than 2 hours, he slept, although some days that also was not possible. I am struck with wonder when I hear about devotional service he executed. I accept Srila Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami as my guides. I shall later explain very elaborately how all these devotees met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, so this is one of the Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, and Chaitanya in the again Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami. He also brings not Sri Srinivasacharya, who is who comes in our disciplic succession. Sri Shad Goswami Astaka praise to the six Goswamis by Srinivasacharya. Krishnotkitanaganan parau premamrutambo nidhi dhira dhira jana priyau priyakarau nirmatsarau. पूजितौ श्रीचैतन्यकृपाभरो विभो भारावहन्तारकौ वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालकौ। I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, who are the who are always engaged in chanting the holy name of Krishna and dancing. They are just like the ocean of love of God, and they are popular both with the gentle and with the ruffians because they are not envious of anyone. Whatever they do, they are all pleasing to everyone, and they are fully blessed by Lord Chaitanya. Thus, they are engaged in missionary activities meant to deliver all the conditioned souls in the material universe. Okay, this is one of the state poems, the kirtans of Srinivasa Acharya, and we always sing this Shad Goswami Ashtakam. Okay, so there is further pastimes of Raghunath Das Goswami also mentioned, and about the Srila Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. So it comes from Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 10th chapter 150 to 157. The prominent devotees at Varanasi were the physician Chandrasekhara, Tapani Mishra, and Raghunath Bhattacharya. Tapani Mishra's son. When Lord Chaitanya came to Varanasi after seeing Vrindavana for 2 months, he lived at the residence of Chandrasekhara Vaidya and accepted prasadam at the house of Tapani Mishra. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed at the house of Tapani Mishra, Raghunath Bhatta, who was then a boy, washed his dishes and massaged his legs. When Raghunath grew to be a young man, he visited Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri and stayed there for 8 months. Sometimes he offered prasadam to the Lord. Later, by the order of Lord Chaitanya, Raghunath went to Vrindavana and remained there under the shelter of Srila Rupa Goswami. Okay, so that is there are further more information about Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. Just a short one. So this is again while Raghunath Bhatta stayed with Srila Rupa Goswami, his engagement was to recite Srimad Bhagavatam for him to hear. As a result of this Bhagavatam recitation, he attained perfectional love of Krishna, by which he remained always maddened. Raghunath Bhattacharya or Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, one of the six Goswamis, was the son of Tapani Mishra. And born in approximately 1425 Shakabda, he was expert in reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, and in Antya chapter 13, it is stated that he was also expert in cooking. Whatever he cooked would be nectarian. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was greatly pleased to accept the food that he cooked, and Raghunath Bhatta used to take the remnants of food left by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Raghunath Bhattacharya lived for 88 months in Jagannath Puri, after which Lord Chaitanya ordered him to go to Vrindavana to join Sri Rupa Goswami. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Raghunath Bhattacharya not to marry but to remain a brahmachari, and he also ordered him to read Srimad Bhagavatam constantly. Thus, he went to Vrindavana, where he engaged in reciting Srimad Bhagavatam to Srila Rupa Goswami. He was so expert in reciting Srimad Bhagavatam that he would recite each and every verse in three melodious tunes. While Raghunath Bhatta Goswami was living with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord blessed him by offering him betel nuts ordered to the Jagannatha deity and a garland of tulsi said to be as long as 14 cubits. Under Raghunath Bhatta Goswami's order, one of his disciples constructed the Govinda temple. Raghunath Bhatta Goswami supplied all the ornaments of the Govinda deity. He never talked of nonsense or worldly matters, but always engaged in hearing about Krishna 24 hours a day. He never cared to hear blasphemy of a Vaishnava, even when there were points to be criticized. He used to say that since all the Vaishnavas were engaged in the service of the Lord, he did not mind their faults. Later, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami lived by Radha Kunda in a small cottage in the Gaurganadesh Deepika 185. It is said that Raghunath Bhatta Goswami was formerly the gopi named Ragamanjari. Okay, that is about Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. Again, there is one of the kirtans by Narottama Das Thakur, Jay Anilo Premadana Karuna Prachur, that Hena Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Thakur. It is very beautiful tune. So Narottama Das sings this kirtan when all these great Vaishnavas disappear from the planet, from our material vision. And also, and one about the third Goswami, Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, about him. So, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya the author receives the orders of the Krishna and Guru. This is few lines about Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. The eighth chapter of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is summarized by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Amrita Pravaha Bhashya. In this chapter, the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda are described, and it is also stated that one who commits offenses in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra does not achieve love of Godhead, even after chanting for many years. In this connection, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur warns against artificial displays of the bodily symptoms called Ashtasatvika Vikara. This is also an offense. One should seriously and sincerely continue to chant and Panchatattva names Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda. All these acharyas will bestow their causeless mercy upon a devotee and gradually purify his heart. When he is actually purified, automatically he will experience ecstasy in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Previous to the composition of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Vrindavana Das Thakur wrote a book called Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata. Only those subjects which were not discussed by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur in his Chaitanya Bhagavata have been taken up by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami to be depicted in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. In his very old age, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami went to Vrindavana and by order of Sri Madan Mohanji, he wrote Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Thus, we are now able to relish its transcendental bliss. Okay, so this is about Krishna. There is a lot to speak about all this. There is further as well to share, but I will share in the. I have shared very few bits in the WhatsApp group. I will forward further. This is reading about these Goswamis. It will purify ourselves. Yes, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he has compiled all this Chaitanya Charitamrita. So in his old age, where he could not hear, he could not see properly, he could not, his words were faltering. At that age, his hands were shaking. So he has composed Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay, such a great Acharya. Okay, that is from the event's perspective. So we shall move into our daily Srimad Bhagavatam. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Hare Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, so Maitreya Muni speaking to Vidura about the Virata Rupa form, and Virata Rupa form is gigantic form where all the demigods are situated along with their functions so that all the living entities are experiencing different kinds of sense perceptions and also able to carry out their day-to-day duties. So everything is in the form of Virata Rupa. So in order to glorify, our capacity is not sufficient to glorify the Vishwarupa or to conceive the Vishwarupa. Likewise, Maitreya Muni mentioning, Etat chattaha bhagavato daiva karmatma rupinaha kashraddhajjad upakattum yoga maya bhalodhayam. The form of the Virat Rupa is the expansion of his internal potency. Lord is Goloka eva nivasati akilatma bhuto. So even though he is in the Goloka, he further expands into Chaturvyuha in the Goloka, Vasudeva Sankarshana Pradyumna and Aniruddha. Again, the Sankarshana in the first quadruple, he expands as the Narayana. He is in the Vaikuntha. There again, Narayan expands himself into Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha as a second quadruple. And the second quadruple, there Sankarsana, his name is Maha Sankarsana. From him, Karanodaka Sai Vishnu expands. And then who is the who resides in the Karana ocean, and from whose body all the innumerable gigantic universes come, and then um, in each and every universe, he enters as a Garbhodakasaya Vishnu, and because of his presence there, this universe expands. And then that is where the Virat Rupa form expands, and within that Virata form, all these demigods and functions, Daiva Karmatma Rupinaha. And then also this Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu expands as the super soul. Of course, super soul, he is all pervading. He is in the heart of all the living entities. At the same time, he is also situated in the Kshirodaka ocean. That's why he is called Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu. Okay, so these were described elaborately by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami in teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Later on, Krishnadas Kaviraja Goswami has also documented all these narrations in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay. एतत् चत्तः भगवतो दैवकर्मात्मरूपिणः कश्रद्धध्यादुपाकर्तुं योगमाय बलोदयम्. So who can glorify that glories of Supreme Personality of Godhead? Likewise, Maitreya Muni mentioning, and then today Maitreya Muni says that, O Vidura, now whatever I have heard from my spiritual master and whatever I have understood, I would exactly repeat the same message to you. Likewise, if I do not speak glories of Krishna and if I do not speak Krishna Katha, then my energy, which will be remained as a useless. Whatever the words I speak, if I speak something and Krishna Katha, it will purify the entire place, myself, and also Shrunvita Bhakta Shraveta Voshidam Dhanardhanasya Suhrudi Prasidati, hearer and also the speaker. It will purify both. So for that sake, I will speak Krishna Katha. To purify myself, whatever I have heard exactly, I repeat the same message without any adulteration. Okay, that is from Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter 6, and verse number 36. तथापि कीर्तयामि अङ्गा यतामति यथाश्रुतं कीर्तिं हरेः स्वां सत्कर्तुं गिरिम् अन्याभिधा असतिं तथापि कीर्तयामि अङ्गा तथापि कीर्तयामि अङ्गा. Therefore, O Vidura, Api, although it is so, even it is very difficult. So he mentioned in the previous shloka, sometimes tata, api, and yata, in such case of circumstances, the previous shloka is referred. In the previous shloka, kasraddha jhadupakatum, who can understand? But still here, tatrapi kirtayami angha. Therefore, although it is, so it is difficult, but still I am going to Kirtayami, I do describe about the glories of the Lord. O Vidura, Anga is Miss O Vidura. Yata Mati Yata Shrutam. Yata Mati, as much as intelligence I have got, whatever I have understood. Yata Mati, I remember. So that maybe millions of topics are spoken about the Supreme Lord. We could hear, we can remember only thousands of topics. So Yata Shrutam, and as much as I have heard from my spiritual master. Yata Mati Yata Shrutam. And Kirtim Harehe Swam Satkattum Kirtim Harehe. I will glorify pastimes of the Lord, Harehe of the Lord. And Swam Satkattum, and for one just to purify, for one purification. Swam Satkattum Giram Anyabhida Asatim, and the species those speeches, the words, whatever we speak about Krishna Katha, it will purify. And if we do not speak about Krishna Katha, we speak non-Krishna consciousness words, which are Anyabhida Asatim. Otherwise, it is unchaste. The energy, this is Vangmayam. Vangmayam means the knowledge of the Vedic wisdom which is spoken. So Krishna mentions in the Bhagavad Gita about the austerities of the mind, austerities of the speech, austerities of the body. There, whenever it comes to the speeches, there Anudvekakaram Vakyam Satyam Priyahitam Chayat Swadhyayah Swadhyayah Abhyasanam Chaiva Vangmayam Tapabuchyate. These are the austerities of the speeches. It will purify. So here, those speeches are to be used to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then it will purify. If we do not use those glorification of the Lord, all other words are, and it remains unchaste. Okay, likewise, Maitri Muni is mentioning to Vidura. Tatapi kirtayamyanga yata mati yata shrutam kirtim harehe swam satkartum giram anyabhida asatim. Okay, translation. In spite of my inability, whatever I have been able to hear from the spiritual master, and whatever I could assimilate, I am now describing in glorification of the Lord by pure speech. For otherwise, my power of speaking would remain unchaste. Okay, purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, so can I request any devotees to read the purport? Unallocated devotees, please. Sanchita Mataji is not here. Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji, we can hear you.
Purification of the collective soul necessitates purification of its consciousness. By the presence of consciousness, the presence of the necessity of solid universe.
Mataji, so it seems a little bit unclear, Mataji. It is, we can hear, but a little cloudy. Any other devotees would you able to hear, Mataji, properly?
No, Prabhu.
No,
We are
I
also
can
finding
hear
disturbance
properly.
in this thing. We cannot hear her properly.
Okay. Prabhavati Mataji, so while you, I think, would you like to check the device, Mataji? So maybe meanwhile other devotees may take a turn and you can. So one devotee read the first paragraph and Mataji meanwhile she sort out that sound issue. Mataji would read second paragraph. Okay, can I request one devotee to read the first paragraph, please?
Can I
Do you-
approach?
Please go ahead. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
The purification. Sorry, it's me? Oh, sorry. My Prabhuji, you are reading? Or?
No, Mataji, please you go ahead.
The purification of the conditional soul necessitates purification of the consciousness by the presence of consciousnesses. The presence of the transcendental soul is verified, and as soon as consciousness leaves the body, the material body is not active, consciousness is preserved. Therefore, by activity, the theory put forward by empiric philosophers that consciousness can remain in an inactive state is the proof of their poor fund of knowledge. One should not become unjust by stopping the activity of pure consciousnesses. If the activity of pure consciousnesses are stopped, certainly the consciousness living force will be otherwise engaged, because unless engaged, the consciousness has no standing. Consciousness cannot be silent even for a moment. When the body does not act, the consciousnesses act in the form of dreams. Unconsciousness is artificial, artificial by induced external externals help it remain for a limited period. But when the intoxicants intoxicants of the drug is finished, or when one is awake, the consciousness again act uh, unassisted. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhavati Mataji. Not clear, Mataji. Maybe you could just leave and come back, Mataji, rejoin, Mataji. Maybe it may solve the issue. You can read the letter. Okay. Meanwhile, Swarup Prabhuji would read the second paragraph. Okay. Prabhuji, would you like to read second paragraph?
Sure, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Maitreya's statement is that in order to avoid unchaste conscious activities, he was trying to describe the unlimited glories of the Lord, although he did not have the ability to describe them perfectly. This glorification of the Lord is not a product of research, but the result of hearing submissively from the authority of the spiritual master. It is also not possible to repeat all that one has heard from his spiritual master, but one can narrate as far as possible by one's honest endeavor. It does not matter whether the Lord's glories are fully explained or not. One must attempt to engage one's bodily, mental, and verbal activities in the transcendental glorification of the Lord. Otherwise, such activities will remain unchaste and impure. The existence of the conditioned soul can be purified only by the method of engaging mind and speech in the service of the Lord. The Tridandi Sannyasi of the Vaishnava school accepts three rods representing the vow to engage in the service of the Lord with body, mind, and speech, whereas the Ekadanti Sannyasi takes the vow to become one with the Supreme. Since the Lord is the Absolute, there is no distinction between Him and His glories. The glories of the Lord, as chanted by the Vaishnava Sannyasi, are as substantial as the Lord Himself. And thus, while glorifying the Lord, the devotee becomes one with Him in transcendental interest, although he remains eternally a transcendental servitor. This simultaneously one and different position of the devotee makes him eternally purified, and thus life becomes a complete success. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Prabhuji. So here in this purport, it is just, this is the topic of discussion, the purification. So purification. So one has to always glorify the Lord. It is purifying the speaker and the hearer and the entire the place. So one of the Yudhishthira statement that Bhavidvida Bhagavataha Tiddhavotaha Swayam Vibho Tiddhe Kurvanti Tiddhani Swantaha Tena Gadabhrita. Oh, my dear uncle Vidura, so you have been wandering for pilgrimages in different places, and then coming now you have returned back to Hastinapura. Now it is very auspicious to see you wherever you go, because you keep the Lord in your heart. You make that place sanctified and as a pilgrimage. So he glorifies the Lord, because the devotees, apart from glorification of the Lord, they do not speak anything. So here, the purification of the content soul necessitates a purification of his consciousness. Purification of his consciousness. Here, when we are discussing topics of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, we see even though something is like which is bit hard to do it, but it will be described in such a way it is so pleasing. So we are inclined to do it voluntarily, taking devotional service. Even the some it is struggles initially, waking up early in the morning and then engaging him in the service of the Lord. It's so pleasing to the Lord, but initially it may be difficult. Tadagre Vishamiva Parinamya Amritopamam. Initially it may be hard. Gradually it will become nectarian. So, but still devotees voluntarily take it. For what purpose? By the purification. So by the presence of the consciousness, the presence of transcendental soul is verified. And as soon as the consciousness leaves the body, the material body is not active. So these are the levels of the body and the spiritual soul. It is existence of the material body. Second level is the existence of the subtle body. And third one is the spiritual body. Spiritual body, it covers by subtle body. On top of it, again, gross body. So even the one leaves the gross body at the end of this body is worn out, then still he has got a subtle body. Subtle body is mind, intelligence, and ego, and contaminated consciousness. So this mind, intelligence, and ego, and contaminated consciousness, they are completely purified. Then he will revive his original identity as a spiritual body. Yada rahitam bhutendriya gunasayaihi स्वरूपेण मयोपेतम पश्यन् स्वराज्यं रुच्यते. This one, but Jarayati Yashu Yakosham Nigirnam Manaloyata. The subtle body is called Yakosham. Kosham is the subtle body. And what happens to the subtle body once we leave the grass bodies, living of grass body, everyone said this experience. They have practically seen with their eyes. And then subtle body, there comes that they sometimes they think that it is merged with the Lord, it is going to the heavenly planets, he attained the spiritual planet, something different conceptions. That subtle body itself, people are not clear. Mind, intelligence, and ego, and consciousness. So what is the mind? Where it comes like a sankalpa vikalpabhyam vartate kama sambhavaha. And intelligence, nishayaha smritir evacha. So determination, how to execute that. And this false ego, karyatvam, karanatvam, iti lakshanam, and executing all those things that it is mine, it is what I have to do it. So it will establish the set of activities in the Santa Ghora Vimudatvam. It is yat ahankritehe. That is the false ego. In the consciousness state, so which is because in a false state, it exhibits through the this is mentioned again. Yatapam prakriti paraha. Consciousness, when the giving an analogy, yattat sattvam santatvam, yattat sattvam swachatvam santam avikaritvam, and avikaritvam means which is not contaminated yet. And then Vrittibhi Lakshanam Proktam Yatapam Prakritihi Paraha. Vrittibhi Lakshanam Proktam, giving an analogy for our understanding how the consciousness can be contaminated. When the rain is coming from the sky or the clouds, it is a distilled water. As soon as it touches the ground, it becomes contaminated. Likewise, when the consciousness, it is pure. Whenever it come into this material contact with the material nature, then it contaminates. Yatapam prakritihi para. Otherwise, it is pure. So our existence of purification of mind, intelligence, and ego, that is the subtle level. Even that is purified, then it will become called, it is called Vasudeva Sthiti. That is Vasudeva Sthiti. At that point of time, he understands that he is not belong to this material world. He is not mind. He is not intelligence. He is not a person belonging to the material world. He is eternal servitor of the Lord. That one. सोप्येतया चर्मया मनसो निवृत्य तस्मिन् महिम्नि अवसितः सुखदुःखबाह्ये हेतुत्वम् अपि असते कट्टरे दुःखयोर्यत् स्वात्मन् विदत्त उपलब्ध परात्मकाष्ठः. So Kapil Bhagavan describes the yogi who is now completely purified from his austerities and penances and absorbed in love of Godhead. And before he leaves his body, he come to that point that where he understands He is not one of this material world. He is not one of this material. He is not one of the family members, not one of the society, one of the other kinds of species. तिर्यक् तिर्यक् नगद विजय देव सरीसृप देवदैत्य मच्चादिभिः परिचितं सद् असद् विशेषं. He is not one of all these living entities. He belongs to spiritual world. That is Swatman Vidatta Uplabdha Paratmakastah. There he again it is kind of a swapnam punarna bhajate pratibuddha vastuhu, because he has attained the original form, and everything else what a material existence, it is a some temporary dream. And again, the living entities, the position is in the three states. One is the Swapna, Jagruti, Susuptushu. Swapna, the first is the awakening state. He is in the consciousnessly, he is doing all things in a consciousness. And sleeping, that is the dream, Swapna, that is the second level. Sushupti stage is the dormant state. But the dormant stage is for very temporary being, only temporarily. Otherwise, this consciousness is always active. In the spiritual world, there is no darkness. It is always active and engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. In this material world, the hunger and thirst. And then that is the Budara Vega, Upastha Vega, Jihva Vega, different Kama Vega, so many Vegas are coming and polluting. This is the nature of material world. In the spiritual world, there is no hunger, no thirst, and no time influence, no influence of Maya, no influence of three material modes of nature. Everyone are in the spiritual bodies. The consciousness, everyone is Kaivalyamiva Murtimat. Their living entities are personified and serving to the Lord. That we see in the glory in the Vaikuntha description. So here, consciousness is perceived therefore by activities. The theory put forward by empiric philosophers that consciousness can remain in an inactive state is the proof of their poor fund of knowledge. So here, when this is, one can, okay, Prabhupada again mentions here, one should not become unjust. This one is even when we are sleeping, we are doing something in the dreams as well. Okay, that is our practical experience. Okay, one should not become unjust by stopping the activities of pure consciousness. This is again Yajnadana Karma, Pavanani Manishinam. Krishna mentioned in the 18th chapter in the beginning. One should not stop the activities which purifies the human beings. Yajnadana Karma. So these Tapah Karma, Yajnadana Tapah Karma, these are to be, even it will purify the people who are even great people also. Pavanani Manishinam. It will purify even the great souls as well. We need to continue. So here, if we stop them, it will become unjust. If the activities of pure consciousness are stopped, certainly the consciousness living force will otherwise engage, because unless they engage, the consciousness has no standing. So because it is always active, so here, how do we, if there is 1 second is there, whether my time needs to be used to glorify Krishna, or it will be wasted, or it will be in a different way, which is not Krishna consciousness. As simple as that. But time is, there is only one option. Either you use for Krishna or you don't use for Krishna. That is the only option. Time is, it does not give okay, parallelly that you can also do this, you can also do this. It does not give that options. Time, we have got only one time factor. Either it is Krishna consciousness or non-Krishna consciousness. Using time for only Krishna consciousness, that is purificatory process. Okay, so consciousness cannot be silent even for a moment. When the body does not act, the consciousness acts in the form of dreams. Yes, so it acts in the form of dream. Unconsciousness is artificial. By induced extraneous help, it remains for a limited period, but the intoxication of the drug is finished, or when one is awake, the consciousness again acts earnestly. Okay, so this is very temporary. Unconsciousness state is a temporary. It is artificial. And further, Maitreya's statement is that in order to avoid unjust conscious activities, he was trying to describe the unlimited glories of the Lord, although he did not have the ability to describe them perfectly. So Lord Brahma, he describes that even Lord Ananta, Nantam vidamyaham ami munyograjaste maya balasya purushasya kuto varaye gayan gunan dasatanana adidevaha. Even though he is glorifying the Lord for time immemorial, he could not complete them. It is so beautiful shloka that Lord He Himself personally expands as Ananta and glorifying with Dashasatarana Adidevaha. Dashasatarana means thousands of faces, but he could not Samavasyati Nasya Param. He could not complete all the glories of the Lord. Okay, so but what to speak of ourselves? And the glorification of the Lord is not a product of research, but the result of hearing submissively from the authority of the spiritual master. It is also not possible to repeat all that one has heard from his spiritual master. So we might be hearing so many things from the hearers, but it is not possible to remember everything and repeat the same as it is also. But as much as our brain, our mati, our smriti can extract and keep it, that much only we can do it. Okay, but one can narrate as far as possible by one's honest endeavor. This is required. This is again endeavor means if you are an ant, you can just give a little particle to the Lord. If you are a huge person, a millionaire, you can give everything to the Lord. That is your capacity. That doesn't we cannot compare. But whether endeavor is whether you are doing in your full endeavor or not, that matters. It doesn't body and your money, wealth, that does not matter. This is one's full endeavor is matter or not. That is the only thing. One can narrate as far as possible by one's honest endeavor. So here there is no comparison at all. Every individual person or the living entity has got its own capacity. There is no comparison at all. It is have a direct path to the Lord. In their journey, whether they are doing their full endeavor or not, that is only the matter. We do not disturb, we do not compare. We do not have to be get disturbed, or we do not also disturb others. Okay, so we appreciate in our journey, everyone appreciate each other that you are also going in your way, we are also going. But somewhere or other, that time is making us to come together and make our journey towards the Lord. That is a happy journey. Okay, so it does not matter whether the Lord's glories are fully explained or not. One must attempt to engage one's bodily, mental, and verbal activities. This is vacha manasa karmana. So this is evam एवं कायेन मनसा वचिसा च मनोगतं परिचर्यमानो भगवान् भक्तिमत् परिचर्यया परिचर्यमानो भगवान् भक्तिमत् परिचर्यया एवं कायेन मनसा वाक् kaya is the body and manasa is the mind and vak is the speaking. By these things paricharyamano bhagwan bhaktimat paricharyaya. So this is what instruction of Narada Muni to Dhruva Maharaj as well. In the transcendental glorification of the Lord, otherwise such activities will remain unjust and impure. The existence of the conditional soul can be purified only by the method of engaging mind and speech in the service of the Lord. Okay, and again giving some information about our practical experience about the Tridandi Sannyasi of Vaishnava school accepts three rods representing vow to engage in the service of the Lord with body, mind, and speech. Whereas the Ekadandi Sannyasi takes the vow to become one with the Supreme. So that is the difference between Ekadandi Sannyasi and Vaishnava Sannyasi. Vaishnava Sannyasis are called Tridandi Sannyasis. So when we glorify Tridandi Sannyasi Sri Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj ki so Jai. So at that time we just say, so we address Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj as Tridandi Sannyasi. So all Vaishnava Sannyasis are Tridandi Sannyasi. We mostly see in the Shri Vaishnava Sampradaya. Tridandi sannyasis. And this Ekadandi sannyasis is Mayavada. Some people call Mayavadis. They wanted to merge with the one with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so that is it's a different sampradaya. And since the Lord is absolute, there is no distinction between him and his glories. So this is, and the glories of the Lord as chanted by Vaishnava sannyasis are as substantial as the Lord himself, and thus, while glorifying the Lord, the devotees becomes one with him in transcendental interest, although he remains eternally a transcendental servitor. So here, how do we understand that one? When एतद्देशनिमेषस्य प्रकृतस्थोऽपि तद्गुणैः न युज्यते सदा आत्मस्थैः यदा बुद्धिः तदाश्रय. And Lord is always transcendental to the material nature. His activities and everything are transcendental. He never come in contact with the Maya also. And time does not affect him. So, and also, yatha buddhihi tadashraya. And whoever taking the shelter of the Lord, they also come into the similar nature, but in a minute quantity. And he also mentions one of the statement about Dhruv Maharaj when he was meditating, absorbing in the Lord's form. It is so beautifully, he completely absorbed in that, remembering the form and the time. Um, all three planetary systems, they are trembling, moving. At the time, Lord demigods went to the Lord, and then Lord was mentioning to them that Yeto hi vaha prana nirodha asit autanapadvi mai sangatatma. So this is because oh demigods, now you all go to your abodes. I will go and stop Dhruv Maharaj from his meditation. And what his meditation, why you are just getting suffocated here is Yeto hi vaha prana nirodha asit autanapadvi mai sangatatma. Now he has taken my form and observed, completely concentrated on me. And my sangatatma. That is how Prabhupada also gives a description there, how a devotee can become one with the Lord, but still he is a servant. Brutyanakam deha grihita muddehe. His Lord is always inclined to his devotees. Madhurvanam Brutti Didrukshaya. And there, Lord, he is also Madhurvanam. Sahasa Sishapi Tato Gharutpata Madhurvanam Brutya Didrukshaya Gataha. He went to see his Brutya, Dhruv Maharaj's Brutya, but still at the same time, Mai Sangatatma, he is one with the Lord. Because he is now absorbed in the Krishna consciousness. Okay, so these simultaneously one and different positions of the devotees makes him eternally purified, and thus his life becomes complete success. Okay, so this is one, and this is Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stressed this philosophy and extracting from different our Madhvacharya, Sri Sampradaya, and also Shankaracharya Sampradaya. So understanding of everything aligning to the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, he has brought this Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. Okay, that we belong to that cult. So here in this cult, we always Trunadapi Sunitena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniyaha Sada Harihi, always glorifying the Lord. But we are glorifying the Lord. Piyush Niryapita Deha Dharmaha. Parasparam Tvad Gunavada Sidu Piyush Niryapita Deha Dharmaha. Deha Dharma means eating, sleeping, and making. So what to speak of everyone's experience. This does not affect to the devotees. Niryapita, because we are drinking the nectar of Krishna Katha. That's why it is Sarira Manasa Divyaha Vahyasha Yechu Manushaha Bhotikasha Katam Klesha Bhadante Hari Samsrayam. And all these bodily things, they will be eradicated out from the devotee's life. Though practically some person may see that materially he is seeing it, but in the conscious he is not like a thinking that he is a body. Though he is experiencing, he will always neglect them. Okay, that is the devotee. There are further to describe, but okay, that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. It is so beautifully Maitreya Muni describing, and Prabhupada is explaining to us. Tatapi kirtayamyanga yatamati yatashrutam kirtim harehe swam satkartum giram anyabhida asatim. If we do not speak about Krishna Katha, it is asati. It is unjust. Okay, we shall move to the Srila Prabhupada's daily letter. Okay, so today letter to Bhagavan, November 24th, 1970, Bombay. Okay, can I request Jayaved Mataji to read this letter?
Hare Krishna, yes, thank you. My dear Bhagavan Das, please accept my blessings. I'm in due receipt of your letter dated 16th November 1970, and I thank you very much for your encouraging report. Yes, we are fighting impersonalism and voidism with pure devotional service. Impersonalism and voidism kills the natural aptitude of devotion, which is lying dormant in everyone's heart. Therefore, we are printing books like our Krishna books so that people may know it, that the supreme absolute truth is a person. The perfection of every living creature is to render transcendental loving service to that supreme person and thereby go back home, back to Godhead. Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita that whoever explains my transcendental glories to others is most dear to me in this world, and never will there be one more dear to me than he. So go on with your organization for distribution of my books through press and other modern media, and Krishna will certainly be pleased upon you. We can use everything, television, radio, movies, or whatever they may be, to tell about Krishna. And outside of devotional service, all these modern paraphernalia are just so much rubbish. It is very nice that you are opening another center in Cleveland, Ohio. Please do it very thoughtfully. Yes, any intelligent man can immediately appreciate the qualities of a Vaishnava devotee. The devotee is always truthful, and therefore everyone feels confident about what he may say or do under any condition. So the judge has appreciated the transcendental qualities of our devotee Narottam Das. I've seen your notice to the other centers regarding your new Sankirtan practices, and it is very nice. Please continue to work cooperatively in this way, and I'll be very much grateful to you for your sincere efforts. Thanking you once again for your kind letter. Hoping this will meet you in good health. Your ever well-wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. And P.S. I'm in receipt of your last letter also. ACBS.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Can you take your points, Mataji, from this letter?
Yes, sir. Again, I think it's very similar to what we've just been discussing in the purport just now. So the first thing he mentions is that there is no place for impersonalism and voidism. So I think, from my understanding, I'm not very good with this impersonalism. Is the where people think the Mayavadis, where it's just like a Brahman realization, and voidism, maybe they don't think of God at all, they don't believe in it. So I think he's saying that we need to revive our devotion, which is lying dormant. Once we do that, then that will go away. That's what I'm understanding. And then main thing is that he wants everyone to go back to Godhead. And he emphasizes that the book distribution is a must, and then if we need to promote it in any way, make people aware through media, then that will come handy, television, radio, movies. But apart from that, then that has no use really. He doesn't believe in for looking at media and whatnot, but only to propagate Krishna consciousness. And then Vaishnava, the qualities of Vaishnava devotees. He's saying about that. What are the qualities? So he's emphasizing that they are always truthful, and people will feel comfortable and confident when they are around those people, because they know that whatever they will do it correctly, and they will follow the Vedic principles, and they will be almost like a beacon. So he was mentioning about the qualities of Vaishnava devotees. And then the last thing is, I think, just about, he's happy with the centers and what Prabhuji is doing, and thanking for his sincere efforts. But that's my understanding, Prabhuji. I could be wrong very much. I think there was another thing that I liked, but I can't find it now. I think, yeah, please do it very thoughtfully as well. I think that bit as well, that, whatever you do, it has to be done thoughtfully and not just haphazardly and whimsically. So, yeah, thank you. Sorry.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nicely explained and summarized. Any other comments, dear devotees?
Very nicely explained by Mataji. I think just one point, which I think Mataji has said, but I was also reflecting on it, is he has again quoted from the Bhagavad Gita about the transcendental glories, the spreading of the explaining and the spreading of the transcendental glories of the Lord. He has used that quotation. So I think he's emphasizing on that point, that how important it is to spread the transcendental glories of the Lord, which Mataji has rightfully said. We have just reflected a few minutes back in the last purport that you explained to us from Srimad Bhagavatam. That's all, Prabhu. But it's very, very nicely covered everything.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Okay. So any other comments? Thank you, Prabhuji. Okay, so this is from Srila Prabhupada's one point here, the voidism and the impersonalism. And in our Prabhupada's Pranati, so we glorify the Lord like Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine, Paschatya Deshatarine. So who is purifying all these impersonalisms or voidisms? So these are the concepts. So a real spiritual master gives all the knowledge from the from Vedic knowledge with his practical experience. He is Acharya. Okay, so otherwise it will impersonalism, wideism kills the natural aptitude of devotion, which is lying dormant in everyone's heart. This is very strong point. If there is a impersonalism, if there is a devotional service means a living entity, a servitor and the Lord and the process of serving. This is eternal thing. If it is not that, then it will kill with Brahma Jyoti. Brahma Jyoti is just a glaring. There you do not have any variegatedness. But living entity means variegatedness, performing so many activities. But what kind of these activities? In the spiritual world, spiritual activities. In the material world, material activities. Material world is the different, perverted reflection. Uddhamulam adashakam ashuddham prahuravyayam. Chandams yasya parnani yastam veda saveda ved. So again, giving everyone are performing something in this material world, but it is showing as a ashwadha tree, which is a vodhamolam. The roots are in the spiritual world, and branches are spread in the material world. But again, the leaves are mentioned as the this Vedic injunctions like that. So it comes as the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, first shloka. Buddhamolam adashakam ashwadham prahuravyayam. Chandam yasya parnani yastam veda saveda ved. Okay, there here Prabhupada, Krishna gives much information on that. Okay, so this servitor, the activities are always going on, either in the material world or in the spiritual world. That is not voidism. Okay, so and further to spread again, we have seen that printing the books, Krishna books, and then distributed it. Okay, that is many things here. Mataji and Prabhuji described. Again, Nachitasman Manusheshu Kashit me Priyapurtamaha. I do not see any dearest person to me than who is glorifying about Krishna Katha to his devotees, not to the non-devotees, to his devotees. Again, Krishna gives who are his devotees. Who someone must have done some pious activities, he must have done some sacrifice like that. It is not that we go to each and every person. Of course, we go to each and every person, but we must know whether he is inclined, whether he is a envious or not, whether he has done some pious activities or not, and whether he is understanding the philosophy or not. We just sense these things, and then if he is inclined, then only we. Otherwise, there is no need of continuing the arguments and discussions with such kind of people. Okay, again, Krishna mentions in those statements in throughout the Bhagavad Gita, for non-devotees, envious people, we do not speak Krishna Katha. Okay, so again, Prabhupada is encouraging everything else to open new centers and do it everything thoughtfully. And here again, one point about the Vaishnava qualities. Vaishnava means he is above all the three material modes of nature. He is exemplary, he has got exemplary behavior. And his qualities, Sarvaihi Gunihi Tatra Samasate Suraha. Yasyasti Bhaktir Bhagvatya Kinchana. Sarvaihi Gunaihi Tatra Samasate Suraha. He has got all qualities in him. That is the Vaishnava. He is always truthful and therefore everyone feels confident about in this Shad Goswami Ashtakam also Dhir Adhira Janapriyaha Nirmatsarav. He is Nirmatsarav. He is pleasing to even the devotees and also non-devotees also. Okay, and he may or so therefore everyone feels confident about what he may say or do under any condition. Say or do under any condition. So the judge has appreciated the transcendental qualities of our devotee Narottama Das. Okay. Okay, I think there is one preaching, so some police may be just putting some case on our of devotees and then taking to the court, and there what you are doing. So if judge is asking, so we are distributing the books where it glorifies Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It follows the four regulative principles: no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex, no meat eating, and wake up early in the morning and glorify the Lord, and then throughout your days are always auspicious activities. When we are listing all these activities, the judge may be wondered how you are able to do all these austerities and penances. In such a way, they also appreciate the devotees of the Lord. This has happened a number of times. Okay, so this is my reflection as well. Thank you, Prabhuji and Mataji.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. I just want to add one small thing. Prabhupada has mentioned that Krishna will be more pleased in giving the quote from Bhagavad Gita. So yes, Prabhuji, you also in the morning, every day giving us all this. So yeah, that's also I want to mention that, Krishna was very pleased with you as our morning start with Bhagavatam, which is really thankful to you. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, just I'm also trying to purify myself and with the help of all devotees, learning to be humble and learn something and glorify the Lord. Thank you, Mataji.
Hari Bol to what Mataji said. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. So, the dear devotees, if you have got any other comments, kindly share. And from the announcements point of view, so today evening we have got Chaitanya Charitamrita session at 7 p.m. Okay, so apart from that, if you have got any events or anything to share, kindly share. Otherwise, we shall move to our Saturday morning Shri Brahma Samhita session. Just okay, we shall move to Shri Brahma Samhita. So in the Brahma Samhita, so this one is Lord Brahma's compilation. Samhita means his compilation, Sri Brahma Samhita, about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna here. And his statement is the Ishvaraha Paramaha Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govindaha Sarvakarana Karanam. That is the first statement of Sri Brahma. And then glorification of the abode of the Lord. Sahasrapatra Kamalam Gokulakyam Mahatpadam Tad Karnikaram Tad Dhama Tad Anantara Sambhavam. And further describing Karnikaram Madhyantram Shatkonam Vajrakelakam Chadanga Shatpadisthanam Prakritya Purushenacha Premananda Mahananda Rasena Avhitam Hiyat Jyoturupena Maruna Kama Bijena Sangatam. So he is further describing his activities. Premananda Mahananda Rasena Avhitam Hiyat. He is in the center of that whole of lotus flower. And with lots of love and his pastimes, Rasena, different mellows of his pastimes. And then further is the Tatkinjalkam Tadamshanam Tatpatrani Shriyamapi, and the different petals, Tatkinjalkam, Tadamshanam, they are the expansions further. And Tatpatrani, the leaves of the lotus flower, Shriyam Api, and these are all spiritual abode of Radhika, the most beloved of Krishna. So the extended leaves of that lotus flower or garden-like Dhamma, that is spiritual abode of Radhika, the most beloved of Krishna. Okay, so this is such a way we are coming to the fifth shloka. So where it is describing about the abode of the Lord. It is Goloka Vrindavana. Let me share that beautiful picture. As soon as we see that Goloka, we are enlivening uh, our natural identity to see Krishna. Okay, so this is our destination and what is our aim to go there. And for that, we are studying how to go there and practice. Okay, this is the about four abodes, which is the Vasudeva, Sankashana, Pradyumna, and then Aniruddha, four abodes. And this is the Shweta and again, there are Rigveda, Yajurveda, Atharvaveda, four sides, and then Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. These are Purusharthas at four sides, and the tridents are on the 10 directions, and the jewels, so jewels are here in all the eight sides here, are surrounding the abode of Goloka Vrindavana. In the Shweta Dvipa, it is again, I think it is Milk Ocean. And here there are the pink, we have got this is whole of the lotus flower where Premananda Mahananda Rasena Avhitam Hiyat, that is happening in the whole of the lotus flower. And petals, different petals here. Again, there are small petals, which is, these main petals are the abodes of Lalita, Vishaka. So these are their abodes, and further this is Manjari sir. So there are small petals are coming in here. This is Rupa Manjari, Rati Manjari, and Labanga Manjari, and then Raga Manjari, like that. Our Goswamis, like that. We know very few of Manjaris here, but there are innumerable. But for the mentioning sake, we have got this template here. And further about further petals, and at the end we have got the leaves. It's a different color, but there are also abodes of Shriyamapi, Tatpatrani, Shriyamapi. So these are abodes of Radharani. So then further we coming to this glorifying. Now I request dear devotees kindly take a turn to recite this big shloka again. Okay, we'll start with we don't. I don't have that English version, but again, it is bit. We'll move away from our standard, which is attractive here. This is Veda based. If we just move to some other document, it may not be nice. It's a white background. I request dear devotees kindly recite this shloka. Take a turn and recite. Okay, first of all, I will recite here, and then you take turns. चतुरस्रं तत्परितः श्वेतद्वीपाख्यम् अद्भुतं चतुरस्रं चतुर्मूर्तेश्चतुर्धाम चतुष्कृतं चतुर्भिः पुरुषार्थैश्च चतुर्भिः हेतुर्विवृतं सोलैर्दशभिरानद्धा वोद्ध्व अधो दिग्विदिक्ष्वपि अष्टभिर्निधिभिर्जुष्टम् अष्टभिः दिभिः तथा मनुरूपैष दशदिक्पा मनुरूपैष दशभिः दिक्पालैः परितोवृतं श्यामैर्गौरैष रक्तैष शुक्लैष पाशदर्शभैः शोभितं शक्तिभिः स्ताभिः अद्भुताभिः समन्ततः. Okay, Mataji, would you like to start with yourself, Mataji?
I'll try, Prabhuji. चतुरश्रं तत्परितः श्वेतद्वीपाख्यम् अद्भुतं चतुरश्रं चतुर्मूर्तेश्चतुर्धाम चतुष्कृतं चतुर्भिः पुरुषार्थैश्च चतुर्भिर्हेतुभिर्वृतं शूलैर्दशभिरानद्धम् ऊर्ध्ववाधो दिग्विद्विक्ष्व अपि अष्टाभिर्निधिभिर्जुष्टम् अष्टाभिः सिद्धिभिस्तथा मनोरूपैश्च दशाभिर्दिक्पालैः परितो वृतं श्यामैर्गौरैश्च रक्तैश्च शुक्लैश्च पार्षदर्शभैः शोभितं शक्तिभिस्ताभिरद्भुताभिः समन्ततः. I think.
Very beautiful, Mataji. Very nicely recited. Okay, next Meena Mataji, would you like to?
I will try. चतुराश्रम तत्परिथ श्वेता दीपक श्वेता आदि श्वेता दिवख्या अद्भुतम चतुराश्रम चतुर्मूर्ति चतुर्धाम चतुष्कृतम चतुर्भिः पुरुष अरष्टश्च चतुर्भिः हेतुर्भिर्वर्तं सुले दश अभिर अनादधाम उर्वत्वाधो दिग्विदीक्षित अपि आस्थाभिर्निधिर्भिर्जुष्टम् सिद्धिभिस्ततः मनोरूपैश्च दास दिक्पालः परितो व्रतं श्यामैर् गौरैश्च रक्तैश्च शुक्लैश्च पुरुषाधरशभिः शोभितं संकीर्तिश्च आदिभूताभिः समन्थ. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So very nicely recited. Sarup Prabhuji, would you like to recite?
Sure, Prabhuji. I'll try. Chatur ashram tatparita seta dipakam adbhutam chatur ashram chatur murtesh chatur dhama chatushkritam chatur purusharthascha chatur hetubhir vritam suler dasabhir anadham urdhavo digvidiksh api अस्ताभिर्निधिभिर्जुस्तं अस्ताभिसिद्भिदिस्तथा मानुरूपे सा दशाभिर्दिक्पाले परितो वृतं सामर्गुरायेष रक्तेश शुक्लेश प्रस्पर्शदर्शभे शोभितां शक्तिभिस्तभिरद्भुतातभिः समन्तता. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. So, he shobhitum siktibihi tabihi adbhutabihi samantatah. It is always shobhitam. It is so beautiful by siktibihi tabihi adbhutabihi samantatah. So, it is describing different variegatedness like tabihi is those and also with potencies. Adbhutabihi, extraordinary, and samantita in all sides. This glorification of Golok Vrindavana in the Brahmaveta Mahapurana, I think so. It is so beautifully described. Everywhere it is glorifications. When the demigods are entering into the Goloka, so Lord Vishnu was taking all of the Brahma, Vishnu, and other demigods, Dharma, and everyone else along with him. And then entering, there are 14 gates, and in the center there is a board of Radha's palace, Radha Rani's palace, where Krishna has emerged from that glare, that effulgence. At that time, no one could see Krishna and Radha Rani. And then gradually, when Brahma has offered his prayers, and then slowly that glaring was taken away. And then Krishna and Radharani sitting on a golden throne, lion throne, golden lion throne, and very highly elevated throne. There, the Lord is slow. So still Brahma continues praying, and then further later on, Lord speaks. So it comes as before appearance of Krishna on the earth. So all the demigods went to the Golok Vrindavana. And then Krishna gives all the plan who are going to take birth as a whom, likewise, who are going to be Vrishupanu and Kalavati or Kitidamata. Kitidamata has got another name Kalavati as well. And then who are going to be Vasudeva, Devaki, and Brahma and Shiva, everyone, they will be given allocated by Krishna only, all their names and positions. Okay, that is complete. Um, all the Gopas and Gopis, they are serving Radharani and also in different gates, and they have got names and their attire, dresses, and everything. So that is very huge. But in the center, there is abode of Radharani palace. And though Krishna is a coward boy, we know Krishna is a coward boy. He is always at the Radharani's palace. Of course, sometimes Krishna also we could see that he is with other gopis as well, like Viraja, Tulasi, and many other gopis as well. Okay, again different pastimes, but it is all by Krishna was only inclined with the devotion. When they because of their devotion, Krishna inclined. Okay, but Radharani is topmost of everyone. Okay, so but in that one, this is description of abode of that Goloka as a huge in a very high level, not going in deep, but in a very high level, we are going through how it is being protected, how it is being surrendered, surrounded by different abodes and the Shweta Dvipa like that. Okay, so in that one, so we shall go through the translation and continue the purport where we have stopped in the last time. Okay, so Prabhuji, would you like to read the translation once again, Prabhuji?
Sure, Prabhu. Translation. The surrounding external plane of Goloka is described in this verse. There is a mysterious quadrangular place named Setadipa surrounding the outskirts of Gokula. Setadipa is divided into four parts on all sides. The abode of Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha are separately located in each of these four parts. These four divided abodes are enveloped by the fourfold human requirements such as piety, wealth, passion, and liberation, as also by the four Vedas, that is, Rig Veda, Jadur, and Atharva, which deal with the mantra and which are the basis of achievements of the fourfold mundane requirements. 10 tridents are fixed in the 10 directions, including the zenith and nadir. The 8 directions are decorated with the 8 jewels of Mahapadma, Padma, Shankha, Makara, Kachapa, Mukunda, Kunda, and Nila. There are 10 protectors, within bracket, Dikpalas, of the 10 direction in the form of mantra. The associates of the hues of blue, yellow, red, and white, and the extraordinary potencies bearing the names of Vimala, etc., shine on all sides. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. It's a very beautiful description. So, associates of the hues of blue, yellow, red, and white, and extraordinary potencies bearing the names of Vimala. Shining, it is. This is called Shobhitam Siktibihi Tabihi Adbhutabihi Samantataha. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. So, in the purport, in the Prabhupada, this is given by Shri Jiva Goswami and later on Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami described. Okay. So here it is guarded by the 10 tridents in the form of the mantras. And these yogis who wanted to enter, so they would see uh, very disappointment. So it is only they will allow only the devotees. Achyuta Priya Bandhavaha. Yanti Anjasa Achyuta Padam Achyuta Priya Bandhavaha, who are direct to the Lord. It is not that because I'm yogi, I have been engaging here in austerities and penances. That means they will see only a pits of disappointment by being pierced and cut asunder by these tridents placed in 10 directions. It is not for the yogis. Yogis means there are different yogis, but it is for the devotees' sake, only for the devotees who have got uh, completely Shuddhaha, Samadrushaha, Santaha, Sarvabhutanu Ranjanaha, pleasing to all the living entities. Pleasing to all the living entities, such a kind of pious souls who are Yanti Anjasa Achyuta Padam, Achyuta Priya Bandhavaha. They only can enter, not for other people. Devotees means they have got all Shantaha, Shuddhaha, Samadrushaha. Okay, these are the qualities of they only can enter into the abode of the Lord. Because it is not like I have done devotional service chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and I must enter there. But it is again, Krishna reserves the right. If he wanted to allow, he will allow. Otherwise, he does not allow. It is not that we call justification and rights of thing. Okay, where there is love, there are no restrictions. Where there is no love, there should be so many restrictions come into the picture. Vidhi Bhakti. Okay, so that one we have discussed, and then these all the tridents are in the guise of the mantras, and this Goloka has become unknowable and inaccessible. In this wise, Goloka has become unknowable and inaccessible for those people who are not devotees yet. It is only the divine selves of Godhead and propounders of the divine dispensations for different ages who are always forward there to favor the approaching devotees who seek entry into the realm of Gokula through the channel of pure devotional love. Through the channel of pure devotional love. So here in our day-to-day, Prabhupada used to discuss, if you love me, before that you love my dog. There is kind of some understanding of this. This is the nature of Western world, I think. So show me if you are loving me. If someone is taking the dog, if you just pat the dog, that means you are loving me as well. Likewise, in Krishna consciousness, what it means, if you wanted to love me, you need to love my devotees. This is that's why we all try to serve the Vaishnavas as much as we can and our spiritual master. That is, Vina Mahatpatara Jobhishekam. We need to take the dust of the feet of the devotees, bathe in those dust. Otherwise, Jivachavo Bhagavatangram Nalabet, this is again mentioned by Saunaka the sages. Jivachavo Bhagavatangram Nadhatumatyeva labeta yastu Sri Vishnu Padhya Manus Tulasya Sri Vishnu Manjas Tulasyaha Swasansevo, that is, what is it mentioned, like a second canto, the third chapter. It comes very beautiful shlokas. It is one, if one is not having that dust of the feet of the devotees, he is just like a dead body. Jivachavo bhagavatangri renu, na jatu macchebe labetestu, Sri Vishnu padhya manusulisyaha, Swasanchoyestu Naveda Gandham. This is Jivancho Bhagavatangrenu. Bhagavatangrenu is what it is, the dust of the feet of the pure devotee. If he is not taking that one on his head at any point of his lifetime, he is like a dead body. And similarly, if he has not smelled the tulsi leaves, which is offered at the lotus feet of the Lord, even though he is breathing, he is again Shava. Shavaha is the dead body. Dead body is mean ikkada one Shava here who has not taken the feet of the dust of the feet of the devotee, and the another Shava is who has not smelled the tulsi leaves offered to the lotus feet of the Lord. See the translation here. The person who has not at any time received dust of the feet of the Lord's pure devotee upon his head is certainly a dead body. And the person who has never experienced the aroma of the tulsi leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord is also a dead body, although breathing. Okay, so this is coming to here. That is how one attains the pure devotional service to the Lord. If you love me, you love my dog. If you wanted to become my devotee, you be a devotee of my devotees. This is Gopi Bhatta Padakamalayo Dasa 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 Anu Dasa, number of times, 100 times, as in the few days back, one letter Prabhupada has. But in order to keep that letter shrunken, they have removed 100 times Dasa 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 Anu Dasa, like that. Servant of, servant of, servant of, servant of, servants of the Krishna. Okay, so these divine forms of Godhead are surrendered there with attendance of the respective natures. The divine forms of the Godhead are surrounded there with the attendance of their respective natures. And then further, this is again divine forms of the Lord are these four abodes are here. This is Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. Those are the four external abodes, but internally Krishna appears in the, for example, in the different petals. He is performing different kinds of pastimes. In one petal, he may be with the Yashodama and Nanda Maharaj performing some pastimes, and with another petal, some gopis are performing some. In another petal, the outskirts. In this one, there is again, if we see, there is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. They are doing glorification of Krishna. Likewise, and here if you see one petal, Krishna is eating, stealing butter and playing with the gopa boys. In one petal, he is taking cows to the forest in different pastimes. So the divine forms of the Godhead are surrounded there with attendants of the respective natures. And Shvetadvipa in Goloka is their place of abode. Hence, Srila Thakur of Vrindavana, the manifest Vyasa of Chaitanya Leela, has described the village of Navadvipa as bearing the name of Shvetadvipa. So this is Navadvipa as bearing the name of Shvetadvipa. Okay, so that is also one part of, that's why here in the Goloka Vrindavana, in this there is a world of this Goloka. One side here Radha and Krishna pastimes, other side is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. That pastimes are going on. In the center, Radha Krishna are here. Premananda, Mahananda, Rasena Sitam here. And one side is, this is what statement here. This is the Navadvipa as the bearing name of Shvetadvipa. In the Shvetadvipa, concluding portions of the pastimes of Gokula exist eternally as the pastimes of Navadvipa. So that's why we have got Mayapur. Mayapur is also, it is not different from Goloka Vrindavan, but it is utterly manifested. Hence, the region of Navadipa, Vraja, and realm of Gokula or Goloka are one and the same indivisible entity. It is not different. In the other shlok, in the other, ye yatha bhuivartante puryoho bhagavata priyaha tastanti vaikunte tattat liladhamadhrutaha. And Lord manifest his abodes, the spiritual abodes on the earth, which are very dear to the Lord. The Lord does not leave his abodes. And whenever he is appearing on the earth, ye yatha bhuivartante, these puriyas, the spiritual plants, they will also descend to assist the Lord in his pastimes. Okay, so that one it comes from, I think, Skanda Purana. It is described here by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Prabhupada has described in the one of the purports when he says about glories of Balarama here. So here it is said. So ye yata bhuvartante puryo bhagavataha priyaha. Yeah, it is Skanda Purana. And tas tata santi vaikunte tat tat leela dhamadhrutaha. The abodes of the, would anyone would like to read this particular section?
May I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji, please. The shloka and then paragraph.
Okay. या यथा भुवि वर्तन्ते पूर्यो भगवतः प्रियाः तास्तथा सन्ति वैकुण्ठे तत्ता तललीलार्थम् अधृताः. The abodes of Godhead in the material world, such as Dwarka, Mathura and Gokula, are facsimiles representing the abodes of Godhead in the kingdom of God, Vaikuntha Dham. The unlimited spiritual atmosphere of that Vaikuntha Dham is far above and beyond the material cosmos. This is confirmed in the Swayambhuva Tantra in a discussion between Lord Shiva and Parvati regarding the effect of chanting the mantra of 14 syllables. There it is stated. Do
Thank
you want me to read the whole thing?
Maybe we can request other devotee to read.
Yes, yeah. Thank you, yes.
Thank you, Mataji. Can I request other devotee to read this next paragraph, please? Yes, Mataji.
Nanakalpa lata kirnama. Sorry, Nanakalpa lata kirnama Vaikuntha Vyapakam Samaret Adha Sammani Gunanam Cha Parikirtha Sarva Karanam. While chanting the mantra, one should always remember the world, which is very extensive and full of desire tree that can yield anything one desire below that. Vaikuntha reason is the potential material energy which caused the material manifestation. The places of the pastime of Lord Krishna, such as Dwarka, Mathura, and Vrindavan, eternally and independently exist in Krishna Loka. They are actual abode of Lord Krishna, and there is no doubt that they are situated above the material cosmic manifestation.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So this is Prabhupada's purport. In the previous purports, there are Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami, Jiva Goswami's descriptions. This is Prabhupada's statements here. And here also he has mentioned further about the Vrindavan or Gokul is known as Goloka. And Brahma Samhita states Gokula, the highest region of kingdom of God, resembles a lotus flower with thousands of petals. So here, in this particular, when we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra early in the morning, so here, Nana Kalpa Latakenam Vaikuntam Vyapakam Smaret. Atah Samyam Gunanam Cha Prakritihi Sarvakaranam. And this one, Smaret, one has to remember Vaikuntam Vyapakam Smaret. So Golok Vrindavan is also Vaikunta, but but it is topmost Vaikunta, that is Goloka. And special name is given as Goloka. Vaikuntam Vyapakam Smaret. It contains Nana Kalpa Lata Kirnam. That one has to desire. All these pastimes are happening in the Goloka Vrindavan. That we need to remember. And here Adhasamyam Gunanam Cha, bottom of all those spiritual planets is the Adhasamyam Gunanam Cha, with the three material modes of nature, Prakritihi, that is our material universe, which is Durga, is in charge for that one. Sarvakaranam, Prakritihi Sarvakaranam. This is all material stuff. Okay, so, and here about Goloka Vrindavan also described here. And here the outer portion of that lotus planet like is a square place known as Shwetdvipa. In the inner portion of Gokula, there is an elaborate arrangements for Sri Krishna's residence with eternal associates such as Nanda and Yashoda. That transcendental abode exists by the energy of Sri Baladeva. So here Prabhupada is describing here. This is Prabhupada's statement. Who is the original wall of Shesha or Ananta? So this we have understand that Tat Karnikaram Tad Dhama Tad Ananta Amsha Sambhavam. Ananta Amsha, that is Balarama. And here that Baladeva, by the energy of Baladeva, who is the original wall of Shesha or Ananta. The Tantras also confirm this description by stating that abode of Sri Anantadeva, a plenary portion of Baladeva, is called the kingdom of God. So Anantadeva is also plenary portion of Baladeva. And Vrindavan Dhama is the innermost abode within the quadrangular realm of Shwetadvipa, which lies outside of the boundary of Gokula Vrindavana. Okay. And further, Jiva Goswami also here, one more statement. Can I request Swarup Prabhuji to read this one, please?
Sure, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. According to Jiva Goswami, Vaikunta is also called Brahmaloka. The Narada Pan, Pan, Panchar, Pancharata, Pancharta, in a statement concerning the mystery of Vijaya, describes Tat Sarvapari Goloke, Tatra Lokopari Swayam, Viharet Paramanandi, Govinda Tula Nayaka. Do I stop here, Prabhu, or I continue?
Just until.
The predominator of the gopis, Govinda, the principal deity of Gokula, always enjoys himself in a place called Goloka, in the topmost part of the spiritual sky. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. So this is Tat Sarvopari Goloke, on top of everything, Goloke, Tatra Lokopari Swayam, and he is personally residing in the board, Swayam. Viharet Paramanandi, he enjoys with all his associates, Parama Anandi, he is supremely enjoyer. Govindu Atula Nayakaha, here when there is apostrophe is there, so sometimes we may read in a different way, just neglect that one and read Tulanaika. Tula means who can be equal, but Atulanaik means who cannot be equal. Sometimes the words will come Amruta. At the time A is replaced with apostrophe. People will read Mruta. Means the meaning will not be right. So here Govindo Atula Naikaha. So because there is one statement what has happened in the past times of Vrutrasura, his father, Twasta, he was chanting the mantras. And then when he was chanting the mantras, one of the statement that who is going to be emanated from this fire as my son, he is going to kill Indra. Instead of saying that kill Indra, he will be killed by Indra. The mantra changed the meaning entirely. And then that is why at the end, what has happened? Instead of killing Indra, Vritarashtra was killed by Indra when we are chanting. So that sometimes this is when who is not Krishna consciousness generally. They miss all such kind of grammatical things. But it is advice. But we are also learning here. There is no mistake because we don't do wantedly. Here we are trying to learn in a favorable way. Anukulyena Krishnanu Siranam. We are all favorable to the Krishna service. Okay, so here Govindu Atulanayakaha. He is uncomparable Lord. Okay, so that is the topmost part of the spiritual sky. And here again, from the authoritative evidence cited by Jiva Goswami, we may conclude that Krishna Loka is supreme planet in the spiritual sky, which is far beyond material cosmos. Again here, for enjoyment of transcendental variety, the pastimes of Krishna, there have three divisions. These pastimes are performed in three abodes, Dwaraka, Madhura, and Gokula. When Krishna descends to this universe, he enjoys pastimes in the places of the same name. These places on earth are not different from those original abodes, for they are facsimiles of those original holy places in the transcendental world. They are as good as Sri Krishna himself and are equally worshipable. Lord Chaitanya declared that Lord Krishna, who presents himself as the son of King of Raja, is worshipable, and that Vrindavan Dhama is equally worshipable. So that statement we are seeing going through here. So his name, form, qualities, his abode are non-different, and also his devotees. As again in the previous purport and Prabhupada's letter, we see that Yato hi vaha prani nirodha asit autanapadir mai sangatatma. The Dhruv Maharaj was absorbed in Krishna. So there is no difference from his devotees and he himself, but there is within his devotees there is a servitorship and a lordship is there between the Lord and his devotees. That is eternal. Okay, they are not different from Krishna. And when yo anyonyata bhagavataha prasidhya sabhajayanti mama paurushani, and the devotees always they're all anyonyata cooperating to each other. Yo anyonyata bhagavataha prasidhya. Anyonyata means it is cooperating. This is very pleasing. The Lord will be very pleased when the devotees are cooperating each other. Okay, so and here coming to back to this one. Hence the region of Navdeepa, Braja, and the realm of Gokula are one and the same indivisible entity. The difference only lies in the manifestation of the infinite variety of sentiments corresponding to the diverse nature of their devotional love. This is the diverse nature of their devotional love. In a different mellows like the five coming to the five rasas. Santa rasa, Dasya rasa, Vasalya rasa, Sakya rasa, and Madhura rasa or prema. Those are in a different natures according to the devotee's mood. So therein this is most hidden principle which only the greatest souls who are possessed of the highest transcendent love are enabled to realize by the direct grace of Krishna. So again coming to here, who possessed of the highest transcendent love. This is called Brahma Sampatti. The love of Godhead is called our wealth. Brahma Sampatyam Vishoko Brahma Sampatyam Sanchena Dvait Samsayaha. When who has got this love of Godhead or transcendental love, then he can free from all kinds of material sufferings. Vishoko Brahma Sampatya Samchinadvait Samsriyaha. When Arjuna was, he has got a deep, intimate relationship with Krishna. And whenever Krishna departed from this world, and then when Arjuna was narrating that pastimes to Yudhishthira, he was going into deep, some kind of contemplations and all those reflecting his pastimes with Krishna. And then he was crying. Arjuna was crying. And then later, after some time, he remembered all Krishna's instructions, which is the Bhagavad Gita instructions, which were received from Krishna during the battle. Geetam Bhagavata Jnanam Yattat Sangrama Murdhani, where the instructions were given in the Sangrama Murdhani. And remembering those things, Vishoko Brahma, Vishokaha, he is freed from, because Brahma Sampatjam, he has got the wealth of this transcendental knowledge and love of Godhead, Brahma Sampatti. That is his possession of the highest transcendental love. So he is now freed from Sanchina Dvait Samsrayaha, freed from the duality of this material world. So these are the devotees are enabled to realize by the direct grace of Krishna. These are great souls. Mahatmanastu mam paddha daivim prakriti mashitaha. Great souls. They're always taking shelter of Krishna. So the truth is as follows. In this mundane world, there are 14 spheres disposed in the graded order of high and low. This is the 14 planet systems. Brahma Loka to Pata Loka. And persons living with wives and children hankering for pleasure-giving effect of their fruitive actions move up and down within the limits of three worlds of Bhu, Bhuvaha and Swaha. This is brahmacharis of great austerities, ascetics, and persons addicted to hypothetical truth, persons of neutral disposition adopting non-fruitive works by aptitude, which seeks to be free from all mundane desires, move up and down within the limits of the worlds of Maha, Mahaha, Janaha, Tapaha, and Satya. So this is a very tricky words here. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami and Jiva Goswami is very high. So here this is तस्यैव हेतोः प्रेतेतो को विधो न लभ्यते यद् भ्रमताम् उपर्यदः तल्लभ्यते दुःखवद् अन्यतः सुखम् कालेन सर्वत्र गभीररंहसा. This is the statement of Narada Muni to Vyasadeva. So here तस्यैव हेतोः प्रेतेतो को विधो. Kovida is the intelligent person. The intelligent person, he would aspire for the object which is not available in the 14 planetary systems. Within the 14 planetary systems, this is pains and pleasures from Brahma Loka to down to Patal Loka. Always these pains and pleasures. All living entities experience, but this is तस्य विहेतोः प्रेतेतोकोविदो न लभ्यते यद् भ्रमताम् उपर्यदः. भ्रमताम् is going up and down. उपर्यदः तल्लभ्यते दुःखवद् अन्यतः सुखम्. And the pains and pleasures can be experienced by everyone, but this one devotee, he will aspire for a different thing which is not available in this pains and pleasures. He is always about transcendental thing. Again, Nayam Deho Dehavajan Duloke Kastan Kaman Arhate Vidbujamye Tapo Divyam Putrakayen Sattam Sujjet Brahmasokyam Tvanantam Sujjet Jasmat Brahmasokyam Tvanantam. Rishabhadev says to his children, Bharata, and headed by Bharata and 100 children. Rishabhadev mentions to his children, my dear children, Nayam Deho Dehabadam Duloke Kastan Kaman Arhate Vidbujamye. Everyone who is materially embodied, material bodies, experiences pains and pleasures. Even the stool-eating pig with bujam. With bujam is the stool-eating pig. Nayam deho dehabhajam duloke kashtan kaman arhate with bujamye. They will also experience pains and pleasures like human beings. But tapodivyam putrakayena sattvam, the tapasya, tapodivyam, this is divyam, transcendental, tapodivyam putrakayena satyam. Sujyajasmat Brahma Saukyam Tvanantam. Once you purify yourself from this material entanglement, the happiness you derive is Anantam, unlimited. So you endeavor for that, not for these materialistic things. So because of his instructions, Rishabhadeva has 100 children. 90 children became Brahmanas. And Bharata became the king. And in another 9, they become again in the kingly order. So under the rule of Bharat Maharaj. Okay, so this is the instructions given to us. So one is always to aspire. This is Brahma Saukyam. This is the transcendental loving service to the Lord Krishna. And again, so here Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami's words are a bit tricky, but this is what it means. One has to transcend the material worldly activities, not even for uh, going up to Brahmaloka or going up to the heavenly, like that. Not that is also temporary. But here, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapoloka, Satyaloka, whenever the annihilation happens, they still remain. They are above from the Maharloka onwards, they will still remain, but they will still in this material world only. And any living entities like the like who are in the heavenly planets, they will go upwards during the annihilation time, and they will stay until Lord Brahma lives and until that point. And then once Lord Brahma's time comes to end, then along with Lord Brahma, all these pious souls also enter into the spiritual world. Okay, that was described by Sukadeva Goswami in the second canto, first chapter. And then, but because the spiritual world means again entering into the Brahma Jyoti according to their constitutional position again. And again, going into the Brahma Jyoti is also not permanent. They would stay there as long as they want, but still, whenever there is a new universe again getting created, or there, of course, um, every moment there are innumerable universes are coming from the body of Karnodaka Sai Vishnu. And then again, they will enter into one of those universes. If they have not attained the love of Godhead and they have not attained the activities of the spiritual world. Okay, so that one. And then further, okay, we shall little few lines only, we shall complete this paragraph. Above these worlds lies abode of four-headed Brahma, above which lies the unlimited realm of Vaikuntha Vishnu, Kshirodak Sai Vishnu, lying in the ocean of milk. So above these worlds lies the abode of four-headed Brahma, that is Satyaloka or Brahma Loka, above which lies unlimited realm of Vaikuntha of Vishnu, and Kshirodak Sai Vishnu, lying in the ocean of milk. And whenever Brahma and demigods got a problem, they will go to the milk ocean, at the shores of milk ocean, and they pray. And Lord will respond in the sound vibrations. Sometimes he will also be visible to them, and he is Ananta, lying on the Ananta. And then here, Paramhamsa sannyasis and the demons killed by the Sri Hari by crossing the Virja, that is, by passing beyond the 14 worlds, enter into the luminous realm of Brahman and attain to nirvana in the form of temporary abeyance of the temporal ego. This is the entering into the Brahma Jyoti. This is Brahman, luminous realm of Brahman, and attain to nirvana. This is demons killed by Sri Hari crossing the Virja. This is they will again some of who are just meditating on impersonal Brahman, they also go there, and whomever Lord Hari has killed, they also go there. But the devotee actuated by the knowledge, Jnana Bhakta, the devotee actuated by pure devotional aptitude, Shuddha Bhakta, the devotee imbued with the love devotion, Prema Bhakta, the devotee is actuated by pure love, Prema Para Bhakta, and the devotee impelled by overwhelming love, Prematara Bhakta, who serve the majesty of Godhead, have their locations in Vaikuntha, that is the transcendental realm of Sri Narayana. Okay, this is very, I think this particular topic, one of the Prabhuji from Nepal, he came to Bhaktivedanta Manor and then he was giving a lecture. So I think if you have seen, they have used these words, Jnana Bhakta, Shuddha Bhakta, Prema Para Bhakta, and Prematura Bhakta, the 5 levels of devotional service. how much the pure devotional aptitude that is goes and actuated by pure love. And it is mentioned here, one is the devotee with the knowledge, and further pure devotional aptitude, and imbued with loving devotion, and then by actuated by pure love, and the devotee impelled by overwhelming love, who are who serve the majesty of Godhead, have their locations in Vaikuntha, that is the transcendental realm of Sri Narayana. Based on how much love we have got, that abode is nearer to the Narayana. Okay, this is a very beautiful purport when we are going in deep understanding. And we are trying here, so sometimes we may be purified. We are all called devotees sometimes, but we are still trying here. And that is different level, Shuddha Bhakta, and then Jnana Bhakta, Shuddha Bhakta, Prema Bhakta, Prema Para Bhakta, Prematara Bhakta. Okay, I stop here and I request dear devotees, if you have got questions, kindly ask questions. Wanted to share, kindly share, please. Hare Krishna. Devad Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I'm so sorry. There's something I don't understand. And then the other thing is just a curiosity out of anything. So it looks like this is chapter 5. And I believe from what I hear that other chapters could not be found.
Yeah.
So I'm just very curious. I wonder what would be in chapter 1. If this chapter is so beautiful, I wonder what would be in chapter 1. Or do we know what was there by any chance?
No, Mataji, as much as yourself, I am also on the same level. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has got from the Brahma Samhita, it is, I think, so many chapters, but out of that, only one chapter he has taken where Krishna and his abode is glorified. He has taken by the permission of, I think Keshava, I think the temple is Channakeshava temple, and taking the permission of those authorities there, he has got this one, and it is preserved here with the help of all the Goswamis here, 6 Goswamis. This is how knowledge was preserved. Still, we have got Chaitanya Charitamrita, but so many other scriptures, they were lost in due course of time. Maybe they may be there, but we do not know. But a few devotees must be in that service to dig out those. And yes.
Thank you. So my question is, I'm sorry about this. I really there's something I don't understand from your Golaka chart that you showed, all those petals. So, am I understanding it right? That when someone is fortunate enough to enter there, and then they end up, so there are all these lovely pastimes going on. But is it like there was a film called Groundhog Day where the same thing keeps on happening every day, every day, every day. So what I'm trying to ask is, if someone does enter into one of those areas where a pastime of maybe, I don't know, a Damodar Leela is happening, does it mean that same Leela will be going on all the time, and then only if they come out to another area, then they will encounter another pastime? I'm sorry about this. I don't understand that bit.
Thank you, Mataji. It's a very nice question. So here you see petals, they are in the circle. And also the pastimes are also in the circle. So in each petal, for example, today we have got sunrise at particular this time, and in the other world is a night time. Likewise, today here Damodara Leela, in another one is another Leela, in another one is another Leela. And here we also can move from one petal to another petal as well. That is also there, and Lord's pastimes are also keep moving. Like he is if we see in the athlete pastimes, we see only one practical, one straightforward. But in the spiritual world, the same pastimes, maybe in a hour gap or a minute gap, the same pastimes are repeating in a different time structure. Maybe few minutes earlier or few minutes later on. Likewise, it is unlimited, it is inconceivable. But activities are going on all the pastimes, all the time.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Are you clear, Mataji? So just one, but we may not understand fully, but here, for example, if we take one particular petal, we can compare that one with our earthly pastimes in a sequence. All these pastimes happen in one petal. And if we take another petal, so by the time Krishna is here 1 year, maybe another petal is here, second year pastimes are going on from second year onwards, and another petal maybe third year onwards. But here, all pastimes are all present in all petals as well. And but if we can also move from one planet to another planet, but likewise, these pastimes are eternal. So if we take one particular time, at the time, one particular time, all of Krishna's pastimes we can see in all the petals. At the same time, one particular instance, Krishna is 1 year old here, 2 years old here, 3 years old here, 4 years old here, 5 years old here. One pastime, killing off one demon, another demon, like that. Of course, there is no time influence in the Golokurna. There is no time influence, no Maya, no hunger, no thirst, only enjoyment and in serving to the Lord, giving pleasure to the Lord. This is Premananda Rasena Avasitam Hiyat Jyotirupe Namaruna Kamabijena Sangatam. Okay, so likewise, he enjoys. All pastimes are happening. But it takes some time to digest, Mataji. But that is what it is. It will take some time. We keep going on, then gradually mind absorbs. No need to worry if you do not understand also. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, any other comments? Surya Prabhuji?
No, Prabhu. Like Mataji also, it's not easy to understand the time is not there, and how the things are happening in the Goloka. I think it's beyond my material this thing to understand it. But yes, I think I have absorbed quite a bit. Maybe I'll go through it again, Prabhu, so as to again study it and see whether I can understand it any better.
Sure, Prabhuji. So it takes just I have been seeing this Goloka planet for last 6-7 years, but I'm trying to enter little bit, and always whenever we get a chance, trying to present to the devotees so they observe a little bit, not even completely, little bit. In due course of time, we may understand a little bit more.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, so we are 35 past 8 o'clock. And dear devotees, if you have got anything else to share, kindly share. Otherwise, we shall conclude and continue with the japa if any devotee desires. Otherwise, we shall conclude.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I'll continue with the japa, but up to the others. Otherwise, I'll just continue on my own. So there is no one should feel obligated.
Yeah, sure, Prabhuji.
I'm afraid I'll need to leave today. So thank you so much for your, all your teachings that you're giving us. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, we'll do 3 Haribols, Mataji, for Amaga Prabhu.
Yes, of course. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol.
Hari
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol to all the dear devotees, Jai Vait Mataji, Swarup Prabhuji, Meena Mataji, Prabhavati Sachi Mataji, and all devotees who have been hearing very attentively, this is called Shraddhatvat, a devotee who is desiring. Lord is Shunvita Bhakta Shraveta Vaishnavam Janardhanasya Sukriti Prasidati. Lord is very pleased with those devotees. Okay, with that keeping in the mind, and then we shall conclude. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya
कृपा सिंधु एव च
कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव
कृपा
वैष्णवेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
Ananta
अनंत
Krishna.
कोटि वैष्णव बिंदु की जय।
Srila
शिला प्रभुपाद की जय।
Hare Krishna
हरे
consciousness.
कृष्ण।